it dawned on me. I think last year, I walked out of the office and took a left turn, walked down the road, looked around, and I saw Costa Calf had changed its. Costa's usually that burgundy kind of
Right,
red looking
burgundy
kind
and
of,
white.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and it was rainbow.
yes.
And I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I walked like further up the road and I could see like there was like the rainbow banners and all this
Mm.
other stuff. I was like, wow. So I'm guessing this is LGBT. I don't know if it was a week or what. I'm not sure. But what intrigued me was that they are more and more becoming embraced in society.
Yes.
Which in a way, like for me personally, I was before in a position where I was like, I would say, why?
Yeah.
If you get what I mean, like
Yeah.
because if they're gonna do that, they should you know keep that to themselves and
Yeah.
do what they do. Yeah, I mean, but looking into it, it's like what? We're all human beings.
Mm.
We all have our human rights to express ourselves as we want to express ourselves, and there ain't a damn thing wrong with them doing what they want to do if that's what they want to do. If you
Yeah.
get what I mean,
Yeah.
So I want to just what's your thoughts on the whole LGBT? I think there's LGBTQ. I don't know what the Q stands
I'm not
for.
sure. I think I've seen that, but I'm not sure. I think
Yeah,
that takes place in the parades, I believe. I think it's a promotional thing for the parades that they do. I think
right.
yearly anyway, but I'm not quite sure what they stand for. But yeah, I agree with you. I think you mentioned about the rainbow. I think it's something it's featured in not just cafes or the general retail place. I think even in sports now. I think if you look at the Premier League, they've adopted the rainbow
The laces,
feature
right?
on the laces, on the
Yeah.
captain's armbands, across the actual logo as well. Football clubs themselves are beginning to embrace that as well, and not even just football, but wrestling as well. I mean, there's a superstar called Finn Balor in WWE, and he's sort of changed his sort of slogan, if you like, to Finn Balor or Balor Club for everyone, which means for everybody who might not.
So
Um,
is he gay?
he's not gay, no, but he's again working for a brand of WWE. They're trying to embrace
Okay, so
everybody.
okay.
There have been gay superstars in the past as well. I think recently there was a guy called, I forgot what his name was actually, but he came out a few years ago and he was embraced pretty well. But yeah, I think for me, if you look at my personal standpoint, I agree with you. I don't feel as if maybe when it first happened, we all had our personal views on it. I think coming from the backgrounds we come from, it's not something that we're used
Definitely
to
not.
seeing.
No.
However, we do live in a society now and in a country where it is allowed to happen. Whereas when we go to, I think we're both Ghanaian. If you go to Ghana, for example, it's not something that you're going to be comfortable coming out with. But they are human beings. They're not hurting anyone. They're not involved in wars or anything like that. So, who am I to sit here and say, you can't do this, you can't do that, I guess.
No, I mean, what's your thoughts on, like, for example, like, for me, I'd say I'm not fussed. Fair enough. You guys are doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
whatever. But like, if I was, let's say, an athlete, like you mentioned, like the footballers wearing the laces to
Mm.
show that, for me, at that point,
Yeah.
that's where you lose me.
Lose me, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, yo, you're doing what you're doing, cool, but I still don't
Agree with that.
agree
Yeah.
with it, if you get what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I got no qualms with you. You're doing what you're doing. But the same way, maybe you might say to me, like, for example, like I'm a born again Christian.
Yeah.
I believe in God and everything else. You might say, well, that's a bunch of bull crap, blah blah
Mm.
blah blah blah. And you know what? That's cool. You get what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But I find it that whereas when you kind of say, well, I'm not supporting what they do, even though I don't mind what they're doing, you get some backlash.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to know why. Why is there backlash? Because it's not by force that I have to agree with what you're doing and your life choices and everything else. The same way you may not agree with whatever choices I make in life.
Yeah.
So why is there backlash? Especially when it comes to this, it feels like
Yeah, it's backlash. I don't know. I think people look at religion, like you mentioned, people look at religion nowadays as a strict thing where you can't do this, you can't do that. Whereas we live like I said, in a society now where you can do things,
Mm.
you can be something. Whereas religion is saying, you can't do this, you've got to do this, you've got to do this, and it's freedom of expression, really, to be honest. I think when you look at again the sports person, as you said, they'll lose you if you were to sort of jump into that campaign and to
Yeah, like
be on
I
the
would
side of
personally
it.
say, like I'm not gonna be out here saying I'm supporting this.
Yeah,
Like
but the
I've
problem
got no
is,
qualms with you as a
yeah,
person who is involved in it or
yeah.
whatever, no problem. You know what I mean? But for me to say that I'm supporting it, like, I'm not going to support that.
Yeah,
You
you're
know what
not
I mean?
supporting it, but the problem is you're working in an environment. You're working for a brand which, they're having for marketing purposes, PR purposes. You want to have a positive outlook on people, so you want people to not look at your brand and think, well, yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, the whole point of it is to make people feel comfortable coming out in that environment. You look at things like sports, especially when it comes to football and you know
Let's say
what
physical sports
physical
and
sports.
yeah,
It's perceived to be a very sort of masculine, manly sort of sport. So for you to come out and say, maybe you're not as everybody else is, it's not the easiest environment to come out in.
no, for sure.
Whereas in trying to promote these campaigns, it's trying to get people aware that listen, we're not against anyone who might be different to us.
Yeah, I mean,
Whereas religion, in a sense, it's like
well, it kind of draws the line
yeah,
there, doesn't it?
kind of open and close the doors based
Yeah,
on what you are. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And that's the issue for a lot of people, really. And I think, again, coming out in a society like we're in today, it's hard, even though there's places where it's weird because you want to come out to maybe the closest people to you who maybe might not accept who you are, whereas you've got these forums online, you've got these,
yeah,
these places where you can go to, all these little communities, online communities, where you can actually go there and maybe anonymously sort of express how you're feeling.
yeah.
And you've got people there to support you, whereas people who are closest to you might not necessarily feel that way, really. So it's a massive challenge now, to be
No,
honest.
it definitely is. I mean, one I feel like they're overcoming as the years roll by,
Mm.
for sure. Because when I was walking down, I mean, when I was out in California as well, they had a whole road which was painted in the rainbow.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought, wow, you know what I mean? Like, a few years ago, this wouldn't be something that they could have
Mm.
achieved. And, they've now, it's getting about, and it's good for them. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So that's fine, which is definitely interesting. But I definitely feel like where it comes to how, let's say, someone like myself who would say, okay, I'm not fussed about whatever it is they're doing, but don't force it on me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you,
yeah,
you,
yeah,
you get what I mean?
yeah.
Like, then, that's where there's always some sort of,
That bit always sort of, little debate as to how far you can push it out,
yeah,
I suppose.
what would you say? Do you think it's nature or nurture when it comes to people within the community of the LGBT? Like, would you say you're born that way, or would you say you become that way?
I don't really feel it's hard to tell because these situations always involve the people, how they feel in themselves. And obviously, you don't know everyone. You don't know what they're going through mentally as well. But I don't feel as if anyone's born that way. I feel as if as you grow up, as you get exposed to different things in life, you can develop
Same.
becoming that way.
Yeah.
Obviously, the people you hang around with as well. Maybe you've got maybe gay friends or lesbian friends, and I think sometimes it's about curiosity as well. Sometimes,
Yeah.
um,
Because I see a lot of people are bisexual now.
yeah, yeah.
So
So it's
they,
curious. So
yeah,
you don't want to be just one. You want to be everything.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So you're not limited to just one, maybe sexual partner or one, sort of one gender you can go out with or whatever you want to do. But I don't know. I don't think anyone's born that way. I think it's just you develop it.
yeah. Me,
Because you're born, you don't know what it is, do you?
this is exactly it.
You.
But what would you say for the people which then say, for like, it is possible for someone to be born
Mm.
with, let's say, some imbalances within their chemical makeup.
Yeah,
So they've got more feminine, I don't know, genes, but it's a man. Oh, it's a boy.
yeah,
So maybe I feel like it's possible in its own weird way, because if you're chemically imbalanced, then it's possible that you could be more feminine, but you are a guy,
yeah,
or
yeah,
you're a girl, but you're more masculine.
yeah,
If you get what I mean, like
yeah.
physically,
Mm.
So. But then again, I'm on the fence of, yeah, I think you choose.
Of course you pick and choose. Of
In
course you
life,
do.
it's all
Yeah,
about choices.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Regardless of whatever it is you're doing, you chose it for yourself, or the environment guided you to that choice.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I
But
think,
it's like anything in life, really. I mean, if you've got interests, like if you grew up in a family who have had maybe a strong feeling on a political party, for example, you'll grow up, you'll develop that as well.
yeah, you tend to follow that.
Follow
Yeah.
that. If you've got a family maybe who support a certain football team, maybe it might be your dad or maybe your granddad. You know, it goes through generations. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So you get influenced that way. But then again, there's always a choice. You know, you don't
Yeah.
have
You
to
don't have to go that
support that
way.
football team. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think it just comes down to, again, living in the UK, living in America, where we're exposed to different things. Really, I mean, you've got TV shows, you've got music,
Yeah.
you've got so many things that can influence people. But I think I said it's always hard because you have to talk to a person, individually to feel as if to sort of get a grasp of how they're feeling about stuff. Because you never know maybe what a trigger is to make you consider. Because
The biggest trigger I've heard is my heart is broken. It's
right,
been broke so bad by some woman. If you're a
right,
guy, or if you're a woman, it's been broke so bad by a guy.
mm,
So they feel like they can only trust their particular sex. I mean, what
mm.
would you say to that?
No, but I think you're talking about one individual throughout God knows how many. Do you know what I mean? One person can't make you suddenly question your sexuality. I think, but
Mm,
again, I'm not them, so it's hard to say exactly what they're going through.
yeah,
But I think it's one of these things where you have to give it a chance, and I think it comes down to experiment as well. They think, okay, well, I've been with this person, been with that person, and they're getting the same sort of reoccurring
okay, so this is a
theme,
theme. But
right?
wouldn't you say then maybe it's more you than it is the people? Like if the results are the same,
Yeah.
maybe it's your side.
It's
You know
yourself,
what I
but it's like
mean?
when you're in that position, you don't look at yourself because you think in your mind, I'm doing everything right here. You must be the other person. And I think some things that we don't do as much as we should do is reflect on our own behavior at times.
Yeah,
Because when you're in relationships, it's not just about what the other person's doing. It's about how you're approaching it as well.
no, for sure.
And sometimes some of us can get into relationships where it's a bit selfish. So we're thinking about our own needs,
Yeah,
and when your needs are not met, that's when you feel as if the other person. I mean, the other person might be doing a great job. They might be sort of giving you what you need. They might be, they're emotionally for you, they're physically for you, satisfying you in any way you want them to. But because it doesn't match your expectations, automatically they're wrong. They're not living up to what you're doing, and it's their fault.
yeah.
Whereas I think sometimes, we should reflect more before maybe criticizing other people.
No, for sure. Do you think we'll get to a space and time where all human
Mm.
beings of whatever faith, religion, whatever it is,
Yeah,
can come together? Where gays, lesbians,
yeah.
transgender, whatever. I mean, do you think we could
Um,
all embrace each other as human beings and just love each other for being human
beings,
beings?
yeah. I
Like,
think they're trying to get that now. They're trying to gradually move towards that position, like you mentioned. But I think when it comes to religion, it's going to be hard, to be honest, because
yeah,
they've
religion.
they've got their way of life. Religion is not a club you go to. Religion's a way of life. It's the way you live every single day. It's what you believe to happen. And
Yeah,
if someone said to you, if you believe your mum's a good person or a great mum, and somebody told you that wasn't true, you wouldn't have that. This is what you believe, right? It's what
yeah.
you've grown up believing. So to sort of have religion sort of accept everybody and everyone, it's going to take a lot,
So
to be
it's
honest.
almost, I don't know. So then, would we say the people which are, let's say, within the LGBT community, or people which are not religious?
Mm.
I almost forgot my question. But like, would you like they? So, is it possible to be religious and be gay or lesbian or
Mm.
transgender? Is it possible? That's my question. Is
Yeah,
that
I think
possible?
there's definitely places where. Listen, I'm coming from a Catholic community, a Catholic background. I've grown up going to Catholic church, and it's Catholic. The church is open to everybody, so it's not about what color you are. It's not about your background, your cultural background, how much money you've got, um, what color you are, stuff like that. So it's hard because religion has a list of rules. Remember, it's something that it's a way of life. It's what we do. So when you've got something that tells you you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, and it clearly states you can't do a certain thing,
Yeah,
if you're sitting in there, you're coming to that knowing that you're doing the opposite, then how are you how are you sort of feeling? Like, how are you, you know, is it I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Is it hypocrisy? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's you're not really sort of obeying
What is being?
what it's been. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because listen, before we became Christians, before we were Muslims or whatever our faith is, you know, we grew up and we came into a place of worship where we had these rules already. We didn't make these up.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
already
They
there.
were there to be followed.
They need to
Yeah.
be followed. Yeah, and somebody who might be in the LGBT community, um, you know, they've obviously got their right to express how they want to live, and they've obviously got their own beliefs as well of how people should be equal.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at two different beliefs, how we should be equal, and another belief which says we've got to live this way, then that's two contrasting beliefs, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, there's conflict there, right?
No, there's
So
definitely
there's going to be
conflict.
too much. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, as you mentioned, coming to that place where everybody is sort of happy and satisfied, that could be a bit of a challenge.
No, for sure. I mean, the challenge is always going to be there,
Yeah.
and it's one, like I mentioned, that they are overcoming
Mm.
little by little.
Yeah.
And in one, it's nice to see because at the same time, we're human beings, so you just want the best for your fellow human.
Of course you do. I mean,
You know what I mean? So
listen, when you make friends with somebody,
that's your friend.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
you don't look at what country they're from. You don't look at what religion they're at. You don't look at what their appearance is. As far as you're concerned, they're your friend. You know, they're the person you can call every day, the person you can discuss your favorite music, your favorite shows with, your favorite type of music. You know, someone you can go to a restaurant and eat food with. Do you know what I mean? When you go to a restaurant, they don't ask you, you know, where you're from and all that. You know, we go to Caribbean restaurants, we go to Indian restaurants, Chinese restaurants. Do you know what I mean? And they're very accepting. So when you pick a friend, it's not about their sexuality or anything; it's just about how they are as a person. So if we can accept them that way, then I believe your point again in life, we should come to a point where we should accept everybody. But when you're looking at religion, you're looking at this, it's like there's two different beliefs there, and there's going to be conflict eventually because you're one person on there thinking that I have a right to do this, whereas another belief says, well, it says you've got to do this.
Yeah.
So it's hard that way.
How would you feel if your mate came to you and said, "Hey, I'm switching governments"?
Um, I think I would want to know what. It's kind of hard. I wouldn't say why you're doing that because it's easy. You know, they've got a right to do that, but I would want to find a reason to maybe making that decision, or maybe sort of find out how they came about, why they're considering that. Really, to be
Yeah.
honest, I haven't got I haven't got a right to tell someone how to live their lives, but I always think behind a major decision like this, there's always a reason for that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so it would be nice as a friend. Forget about sexuality. As a friend, I want to find out the reason what you're going through, what's your thinking behind it. Can I do anything to help you as a friend?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of questions that go deeper than to what we think sometimes, and if we can sort of answer those questions, that always helps. Because anything, if you get a hair transplant, if you get plastic surgery, there's a reason you're doing that. You know,
That's true.
there's a reason you're doing it. You're not comfortable with what you are at right
Yeah.
now. So there's always a reason behind making these major. These are not just decisions in terms of buying new trainers or buying a new jacket. These are life changing decisions. It's
No,
going to
for sure,
affect
for sure.
how you live the rest of your life. You know. So as a friend, I want to find out. You know, is there anything I can do to help you? Maybe.
No, for sure.
Help.
I mean,
If I can't change your mind, how can I help you in this?
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
That's how I look
You
at
know,
it. To be honest.
I think
So,
understanding, like you said, is key. You know,
Yeah.
and I guess being able to ask the question of, okay, how have you got to this conclusion?
yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
how long have you been in this
Yeah.
zone? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like, am I only finding out now and you've always been in this zone? Or was there a list of things that's happened, over a period of time to have brought you to this kind of decision?
I mean,
you
how
know?
would you approach it if someone came to you and said, "Listen,
I would be
This is
shocked. I'm not even gonna lie to
Yeah.
you. Like, if any of my people I know came to me and said that, I would be shocked. I'd be like,
I mean,
whoa.
I don't know. It's weird because it's a sensitive thing to talk about. But would it change the way you actually look at that person, though?
I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning, it definitely would.
Hmm.
Because it depends how the conversation goes. If you look at it, like, if someone is saying, "Well, I've been like this for 10 years, but I've just been keeping it from you, man," that means you haven't been yourself.
Right. Okay.
So then that
Okay.
automatically changes, and it's like, then who's you really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because You should have just been yourself.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
But do you feel as if that's a reason why a lot of people find it, I say, a bit difficult because you've been living a life for so long, and then all of a sudden you switched? So do you feel as if people find it? It's almost like going halfway. So I'm halfway now. Do I maybe take a diversion, or do I just go my normal route?
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? So
It's true.
again, decision making is key in this because you might know me as a certain person, but then I've told you this now. So it's like, well, you might think I've been deceiving you all this time.
Yeah,
So
no,
for the person, it's difficult as well. So again, it's all emotional thinking behind all this stuff because people make decisions and it's not easy. And at the same time, us sitting there, we can't always put ourselves in the shoes of that person because they might be going through something which is completely different, you know?
No, for sure, for sure. You know, I mean, hopefully you'll be able to, because I would say if you are, I guess the base of most religions is love.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're somebody who, you know, really holds on and adheres to that principle, you should be able to deal with that situation in a space of love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From the very
that's the message behind the rainbow, isn't
get-go.
it? It's love, isn't it? And equality, is it?
Well, I
Equality,
have no idea what the actual message is behind the rainbow.
The message is behind it is that, you know, it's for everybody. We're accepting of everyone. Really, it's
Right,
not, you
so
know.
it's like, but yeah, I found like that's like the one community where, or I don't know if that's even disrespectful to say community, but like they are accepting of whatever race, whatever you are. If you are one of
Because
them,
that's their
you're one
message,
of
really,
them.
isn't it?
Yeah, I
Their
mean,
message is, listen, as you said, it's love, and that message is, you know, even if you've got tinfoil on your head, you know, you're one of us and we love you. That's the message behind it. Whereas if we're looking at religion, we're split. So we've got Muslims, we've got Jewish, we've got Catholic, we've got Christian, we've got so many different things in a Christian.
yeah, even the Christian denomination.
Yes, exactly.
There's a lot of
It's split,
stuff
isn't
going
it?
on. Yeah,
So we're all about charity. We're all about doing the right things. We're all about accepting people, no matter what money they've got, what race and background they're from. So if they can adopt that for theirs, why can't we make a change of a mindset?
to also,
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I just feel as if, you know, the way that religion is now, we're looking at, you know, rules, we're looking at how it should be done, and I don't know. Do you think it's a barrier there? I don't know.
I mean, when it comes to religion, that can never change.
Yeah.
You know, because you can't rewrite the Quran.
Yeah.
You can't rewrite the Bible. You can't rewrite the Torah. You can't rewrite any of the other holy books, you know, which are available to us. So they're forever going to be what they are, you know, and I guess it's down to you as the person to say, I'm not going to follow whatever route I was on and I'm going to switch lanes.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to be, some people would say open-minded, you know what I mean, or free thinker, you know, so yes, that's how it's brought, but I'm switching it.
I mean, but what's your view? What's your view on terms of? I know I mentioned before, and it affects sort of your life decisions moving forward. But what's your view on in terms of how it affects maybe your family life? Because there have been a lot of situations where people have sort of considered adoption as, you know, their number one way of starting a family. Do you feel as if the kids who grow up in families, do you feel as if they get confused, or do you feel as if they're?
I feel so, man. I think so, man.
I think as long as they're being looked after, as long as they're getting the support and care they need, that's the most important thing, isn't it? But I don't know. Do you feel as if maybe for kids it might be a bit of a confusing, or?
I mean, for me, I'd definitely say confusing. You know, because it's one of those ones there. Whereas I feel like if you're growing up in that environment in the first place, then, and that's what you see as your role model, then by default, you may also become that way, you know, whereas I feel like it's hard, you know, it's like, cause I was hardcore on this, you know, like, because I'm like, man, like, you can't be gay, you can't be lesbian, you can't, like, yo, that's real messed up, you know what I mean, like, but over time, that's just ignorance. You know what I mean?
But what we'll say, sorry to interrupt, Francis, but
yeah,
it's like we're looking at the sort of the family life moving forward and stuff, but the result of this has come from broken families. So the kids that maybe are going into these families, they've come from situations where
I mean, they come from broken homes, and they're with people which potentially are also from broken homes, because you're automatically a castaway the moment you make that decision. So in a lot of places, you're thrown out.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, yeah,
So for me, I just feel like in the ideal setup, you would want there to be a representation of mum and dad, not dad and dad or mum and mum. And in some cases where there's transgenderism, it's confusing because the person looks like that, but they are mum and they're giving birth to a kid. So it looks like a man is giving birth to a child.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So then there's that confusion there as well. And then you've got kids, which minds are very impressionable. They're seeing this and it's hella confusing.
Yeah.
You know, and then they say, well, now the toilets and everything else, you know, has to be genderless. The traffic lights, you know, there used to be a green man and a red
Yeah.
man. Now they're getting rid of that.
What's it now? Rainbows.
No, it's nah. It's
Also, Quab's in the studio with us now as well.
yeah,
So
yeah. Quabs has finally
thanks
made
for
it.
joining us at last.
You know,
under the weather and that, but it's all good.
Under the weather. His car's under the weather. He's under the weather.
It's just a mess at the moment. But yeah, thanks for joining us in this conversation. Anyway, I'm sure you've heard what we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes. What's your views on it?
I only caught a glimpse of it. What's this about?
Oh, so we're just talking about the LGBT community. I think we've sort of come to a point in our society where it's become a lot more accepting. A lot of brands have adopted their strategy to be open to everybody, whether it's sports, whether it's retail, whether it's entertainment industry. They've also had parades as well, which have been very successful too. I mean, so what's your view on it, really, on society? Do you feel as if it has become very accepting, or?
I think people have become more accepting of it throughout the years. Of course, you're gonna have some people that are not really gonna be with that type of stuff because of their beliefs and stuff. But I also think to look at it from the other side. For example, when like the people that are in the LGBT community are joked about, just like all of us are joked about, they take it so serious, and I don't really agree with that because all of us get taken the mick out of at one point in their life. But when it comes to them, it's like, oh, you're taking the mick out of the LGBT community, where it's like an uproar. So that's the bit that I don't really get, because everybody gets taken like the piss out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's a touchy subject. So I don't see why they should have like preferential treatment, like when it comes to like certain aspects of life type of thing. But other than that, me personally, I'm accepting of the LGBT community. I don't think anyone should be disregarded. So whatever your what do you call your background or your sexual preference, all of that, it shouldn't be disregarded. So that's how I feel about that.
No, for sure. I mean, I totally agree with you. It shouldn't be disregarded. But at the same time, I feel like in a lot of stuff, I feel I'm in a weird position because I was hardcore against this kind of stuff, man. I'll be like, man, all of this stuff, I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't with it. But I realized, I don't have to be with it to, in my own way, just be like, let them do what they're doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because this is where we are now. You know what I mean? Like, because what if you ain't accepting it, you ain't with it, then you're archaic. You know what I mean? You're not moving with the times. You're not moving with what's going on, so to speak. So for me,
it's weird. I think a lot of people want to have their opinions on this. A lot of people want to have their opinions.
For sure.
This is right. This is wrong. But at the same time, nobody wants to be looked at as homophobic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you are
homophobic, what's wrong with that?
No, but the problem is we live in a country where it's okay to be different.
Yeah, no, so be different, but if I don't agree with your difference, then I'm homophobic.
No, I think being homophobic is going to the extent where you hate someone. I don't think we hate anyone.
I mean, nah, that's too far.
You never hate anyone.
Phobia is when you're like scared of something.
Like homophobic. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or you're just you just anything to do with those people, you just don't want to have anything. So if they're sitting in the same restaurant as you, you would walk out. If an artist is maybe gay or lesbian, you won't listen to their music, stuff like that. Really,
I just still find it a bit weird when they kiss and stuff like that and hold hands. But
if you're not used to
you know what I mean?
If you're not used to seeing it growing up, of course it'll be different. But it's
just like this, for example, Kevin Hart was going to host the Oscars.
Oh yeah.
But then the Academy decided to dig up some tweets that he tweeted years ago about. He said something about the LGBT community or the gay community. All of a sudden, there's an uproar. Oh, Kevin Hart did this. Kevin Hart did that. Oh, he can't host the Oscars no more. I'm thinking if he made a joke about something else or about the color, like
the color of his skin,
all of that, I think he'll still be hosting the Oscars. But it's the LGBT what
LGBT.
is it? Yeah. It's a touchy subject. Like why do they get special treatment? I don't get it. You're the same as all of us, so why do you get special treatment? You can get joked on too. Like everyone gets joked on.
Of course. But obviously, it's for them. It's looking at, a lot of people, they see it as they've taken a huge step to become this way.
Yeah, but
so why should you take them?
Do you know what I think it's unfair, right? It's like being whatever color you are is not a choice. So in a lot of places, I'm going to be joked on and I can't change that.
Yeah.
And I didn't choose that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can change that and you chose that. You see what I'm saying? So if you're being joked on, my friend, you know what I mean? Take it with good heart and cheer and know that it's a joke. You know what I mean? Like the same way I'm being joked on and I can't change it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're right. I don't feel like preferential treatment should be given that to anybody. At all.
You wanna be considered like all of us, then you get the same treatment as all of us. That's how I see it.
Obviously, it gets to a point where you don't want to be offensive, where you're crossing up the boundaries and stuff.
But what are the boundaries?
Listen. When I was younger, in primary school, secondary school, they used to call me Dark Knight, Darth Vader, all of that. I was like, alright, cool, but I could receive it, but I could dish it out too. Do you know what I'm saying?
The thing is, we're looking at a generation now where back then, when you were growing up, when we were growing up, early 2000s or late 90s, it was a generation where if you had feelings, you had to bottle up your feelings. There was no.
No, but what you're saying is that we had to bottle it up, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's like that now. Because if you do
you're
something...
You're bottling up your expression.
Listen, I never used to bottle up. No, I used to try and look for something to get you about, and then I'll cuss you too. Like, you're not just going to get me like that. Yeah. You're not just going to have me out here looking crazy like that. I'm going to get you too. So it's like, I just feel like they need to have that. I know everyone's different, but like, you need to have that kind of approach as well. Like,
because it is what it is. You are what you are. You know what I'm saying? And if I want to joke about it, that's fine. You know what I mean? And if you're going to joke about me, we should be able to take it in good cheer. Of course, we should be respectful of one another and not get into a space where we're offending each other. That's crazy. You know what I mean?
Of course.
But whereas Kevin Hart, he's apologized for it already. They're trying to make him apologize for it again. It's like, no, I've apologized. I was ignorant 10 years ago about this. I'm not the same person. Let's move on. But no, they're holding the man ransom for apology. That's where it's like...
it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
It's ridiculous.
Point,
and on top of that, there's many people that said, like, jokes about the LGBT community, but why is Kevin Hart being singled out? Well, I have a theory why, but I'm not gonna...
No, share that theory.
Yeah, I think it's probably the colour of your jacket, isn't it?
The jacket you can't change.
The black Adidas. The black... Yeah, obviously, I think it has to do with skin colour, and like, you have other comedians out there that were doing like jokes about gay people and stuff like that, like Amy Schumer and a couple of other comedians, but they're not being drawn out like the way Kevin Hart has been drawn out. So I don't understand why. And
maybe it's because they ain't hosting the Oscars.
Well, I'm sure if they had like the chance to, like that, they wouldn't do the things that they're doing.
Well, sometimes it's like you mentioned about digging up something. I mean, sometimes you just have a reason to not want someone to host something. Why would you dig up what you said 10 years ago? How did they know that?
They know
if you're going through the archives for 10 years
everything
to see, what he said about a community.
I think they just want to dangle a piece of meat in front of you and then take it back because they can. That type of thing.
It's crazy.
Like we're in control. You're,
it's true.
You know what I mean?
You're for hire.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, it's mad.
No, it definitely is mad. How would you take someone coming to you and saying that they are switching governments?
Switching governments.
Yeah, they're going to be gay, lesbian, or maybe even transgender.
When was that called? Switching governments. All right, so what? Switching. Okay.
Yeah, like they're going to be gay. They're no longer, straight or lesbian.
But in what context are they?
They're your friend.
My friend.
This is a friend, or even a family member, whatever. Somebody close to you.
I think family member might be a bit difficult, but
yeah. I asked them. what's brought this on? Have you always felt like this, or has it been recent? Or and I'll try and convince them to stay the way they are. To be honest, that's just me, though. I'm gonna try and convince them because that's what I've known you as. But if you feel a way that you're not living your life like happy and stuff like that, I'm not gonna stop you from doing anything. But I'm gonna at least, say how I feel and try and convince you to stay the way you are because that's how God made you. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a good point.
So if you said if they change, so that means prior to changing, they were away.
They could have been that way, and they were just pretending. Like what is the pretense, and now they just can't keep up with it. It's like
I mean, would you look at them differently though if they changed?
Or is that still your boy? Or is that still your girl?
That's a difficult question. I would try and I would move. I would move accordingly.
It's hard because
that's what I can say about that.
It's hard because you want me to accept who you are now, but then again, you have to accept the fact that I'm going to find it hard to look at you differently.
Yeah.
That's what sometimes.
That's a good point.
There's no balance there. So you want me to accept you for 20 years of how you are, but then you want me to suddenly change and accept who you are now. It's like, well,
but you're still. Cool.
I need that time. I need that time to
also adjust
to it. Do you know what I mean? So it's not just okay. Well, I'm gay now. All right. What next?
Yeah, you can't. You can't. Yeah, like.
Well, he said, hang on a minute. I didn't know this. I mean, why are you having these feelings? Is there anything I can do to help you? Maybe. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's always something deeper to a decision like this because it's something that affects the rest of your life, isn't it? And
for sure.
If they couldn't come out, when they're 15 or 16, why are you going to come out at 20 or 21 years old? So it's a very sensitive thing, but I just feel as if we need time, as they want us to accept them right now. They should also accept the fact that, listen, maybe when we've been brought up in different households and stuff, it's not the norm for us, which is fair, isn't it? It's fair. We're not saying you shouldn't be part of society. We're just saying that, well, hang on a minute, maybe it's not what we used to, and we need time to adjust to that. Just like self-checkouts. When you had the older generation who were used to pay with cash and stuff, now you've got to press all these buttons. They need time to adjust to it, isn't it? It's how it is.
No, for sure.
Well, have you not gone through this personally? Like,
nah, not at all.
No. I mean, I worked with people who.
I've worked with people which are gay.
Who are great people, by the way, really, really funny, and I get along with them really, really well.
Like, this is why my mind has been changed, because, like, I'd never in life had been exposed to them. You see what I'm saying? So now I'm, like, in that type of, because the fashion industry, that's just how it is, right? So when you're exposed to them, you realize, man, they're just regular people, you know what I mean? Like, just like my life choices are different, theirs are different, but, mine is that, you know what I mean? We all good, you know what I mean?
If they're not affecting your life in a negative way, then there's no issues there at all.
Not at all, you know what I mean? So how about yourself? Have you been impacted by it at all, or?
Well, in my personal life, I've worked with some gay people, and I haven't seen any problems with them. So, I don't see why, there should be a phobia about them.
Yeah,
but there's no phobia. I mean, like homophobic.
Well, yeah, same thing though.
Yeah, it's like
that's like you're saying, like the phobia or phobic is derived from phobia.
Listen, we're not homophobic, so
you know what I mean.
People are people, so
yeah,
of course.
But because what I find crazy is that, look, at the end of the day, if one was on their deathbed and they needed to give you an organ, you're not going to say, don't give it to me from someone who's LGBT. You just want to live.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the same way as if you was there and you're a racist, you just want to live. You know what I mean? You're not caring where it's coming from. You know what I mean? You just want to live. So it's the same type of mindset, I guess, you should try and adopt.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, you just get on with life, so to speak. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's it.
But yeah, I think it's definitely been a good conversation. I think it's something that maybe not everyone's comfortable talking about. But then again, we're living in a world where we're trying to get to a point where, as you said before, Francis, everyone's accepting of everybody, no matter your religion, your culture,
let's just all vibe,
sexuality. And hopefully we can get to that, Yes, it's been a good conversation, guys.
Yeah, let's just all vibe, man. Like, let's be united with what makes us all, similar but different, if you get what I mean. It should bring us together.
It
shouldn't make us be divided.
Yeah. I think these conversations as well are, the whole point of these conversations is to bring everyone together, to make everybody aware of, that, we all are the same. And just because our life choices are different doesn't give anyone the right to condemn someone.
No.
Or just our views are different. That's all.
That's all.
Our
And
views are different.
just like understanding of each and everyone's like background.
That's it.
Yeah, but that's it. And
That's
I'm
it.
sure if we can keep on that path, then there's going to be, a lot of a lot of togetherness on the way. Hopefully, I hope.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, it's been a great conversation, and again, the podcast is for all our listeners out there. So feel free to follow us across all our social media platforms. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at EEViews. If you've got topics you'd like us to talk about, feel free to get in touch. Either comment on the comment section on YouTube or send us a message across Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. And we're happy to talk about issues you guys would like us to talk about.